Before I start my State of the Nation, I want to recognize not only a friend, but a colleague for a number of years. As part of the legislature, he and I have served together in many capacities. Ladies and gentlemen, the second chief of this great nation, Roger Barnett. Obanaya, Speaker, Ahaga Hayari, National Council, Fachijogi, members of our judiciary, our guests, but most importantly, Isti Muscogee, Dotsad. Momin Hayoi, Chihoma Wheelit. Mahin was it, Sabatskaz it, Nakokit Gijada, Okit Gijahanet, Madu, Chigajidos. Speaker, members of the National Council, Judiciary, distinguished guests, and most importantly, the citizens of this nation. I am humbled and honored to stand before you to deliver the State of the Nation of this great Muscogee Creek Nation. If I were to put a theme to this address, it would be, we are still here. We are Muscogee. Well, it was our ancestors who survived the March on the Trail of Tears, or Philip Kuhn, one of our most noted warriors on the Bataan Death March. As Muscogee people, we are survivors. It is important to recognize Muscogee citizens spoke loud and clear recently with the message that they want their tribal government back in the hands of their people. They want their government to work in a united effort to ensure, as elected officials, we work together for the betterment of all tribal members, not for just a few or for outside interests. I am confident as I stand before you this morning, all levels of our government will adhere to their message, and I look forward to working with you to bring prosperity and improve services to the Muscogee people. I would like to share with you my plan for the next 90 days, which I will present to the Speaker and that he will distribute among you. This sets a precedent in the history of our government. At no time has the executive office and the legislative level of our government have ever had a document that we can share and attain goals and objectives for the next 90 days, and I will present to you that document right after I finish the State of the Nation address. Before I do, however, I want to share with you what's been accomplished since January 4th, when we first took office and had a first full day in our offices. We submitted an application for a planning grant for a development of a small business center. We're putting together, and we've started circulating what we call an RFR, a request for resumes a campaign that is being circulated and advertised nationwide to find and attract talented Muscogee citizens to come home and work for our nation. We began negotiating farming and grazing leases of vacant lands in Hanna that have remained unutilized for the past 8 years. I met with Congressman Sullivan and his staff, as well as field representatives from Senator Coburn and Senator Inhofe's office to discuss important issues that affect not only tribal nations, but especially Muscogee Creek Nation. Today you will be addressing a nomination for the Supreme Court Justice, a District Court Judge, an Attorney General, and a Board of Regents for the College of Muscogee Nation that we feel is important that we have your support. Recently, I met with the Mayor of Broken Arrow and his staff to discuss good neighbor relationships. We share communities. We should also be sharing our resources. I met with Nation employees and rescinded the policy that prohibited employees from speaking freely to National Council representatives. It is my belief that all employees should be able to communicate with elected officials without the threat of being fired. But more importantly, as you know, on the council, this week we sat down and we were able to discuss things in a unified manner as two equal branches of government and talked about issues that face our nation. This line of communication has not happened, as many of you know, in many years, and I am so proud that we have that line of communication, and I look forward to working with you to make this nation a more prosperous nation. In February, I plan to submit another nomination to you that serve on the National Council for a Supreme Court Justice so that we can have a full Supreme Court. I will also be submitting a nomination for the Gaming Operations Authority Board, and I'll be calling for a special election for an open National Council seat. I will also be working with the National Council to dismiss or resolve the numerous lawsuits that have caused turmoil between our branches. As early as next week, I plan to rescind Executive Order 1019 and 1020, which will restore the charters of Duck Creek and Eufaula community. This will allow Duck Creek and Eufaula to pursue economic opportunities again that are best suited for their respective communities. The restoration of the charter will not interfere with the current gaming management provided by the Gaming Operations Authority Board. Having shared that with you, all of our Muscogee Creek communities have been ignored and treated poorly during the last 2 years. It's always been my belief the strength of the Muscogee Creek Nation comes from our communities. Therefore, meetings will be scheduled next month to meet with the leadership and members of all the Muscogee Creek communities to solicit their input for much needed reform. I will work with our departments to produce technical documents to assist and support the communities to help them and not hinder them. And as I've stated before, who best knows about the communities than the communities themselves? They should control their own destiny for success with assistance, not dictation, from the tribal government. Our citizens have called for a reform in our housing division. Therefore, I plan to expedite the application process for housing for our citizens. Currently, the acting director is reviewing and evaluating process for approving applications and a time frame from application to the completion of construction. All qualified citizens that go through our housing division should not have to wait, as we've seen in the last few years. You are entitled to a house. Speaker Alexander, Second Speaker Ridge, the budget call is only a few months away, and I recognize that National Council is the only proper authority to appropriate money and should ever be taken to court over a budget matter. Therefore, I make a commitment to work with the National Council on following the constitutional process for presenting and administering a comprehensive budget. The budget will first be thoroughly assessed to ensure efficient spending and transparency. I look forward to working with you during the budget process. Our citizens, who we all serve, have also asked for transparency on the performance of our money investments and permanent fund. In the next 90 days, I will authorize a financial review to analyze performance and to identify ways to increase earnings while maintaining the safety of our tribal funds. We face an enormous task and challenge of reorganizing and updating our tribal government to meet the economic demands of providing adequate social programs for our citizens. However, during a time when jobs are hard to find, I am proud, as you should be, to report that we have over 1,700 employees working for our tribal casinos and over 1,800 employees working for our nation's government and government entities. Combined, this nation employs more than 3,500 employees who are citizens and residents of Oklahoma and pays over $130 million in salaries and benefits to employees. These salaries and benefits flow into our communities and flow into the economy of the state of Oklahoma. In addition, the nation operates an overall governmental budget of over $200 million, not including our casino's overall budget. Your nation's economic power greatly impacts the state of Oklahoma and the United States of America's economy and has the characteristics of a positive future. Our Muscogee people are a testament to the courage, selflessness, and teamwork of our nation. From the long trail, the long march on the Trail of Tears, to policies of termination, to policies of Indian education, of our children away from their homelands, to relocation, taking us away from our culture and our traditions into an urban setting, to now self-determination. We have had a tremendous march in these journeys, but we are still here. As many of you know, our jurisdiction includes 11 counties in eastern and east central Oklahoma, and an enrollment of over 72,000 worldwide, the majority being Oklahomans. In this past election year, for the first time in the history of our election, people within the jurisdiction had their voices heard loud and clear. In the past, our tribal citizens that were absentee voters dictated our elections. Our people that live within the jurisdiction got out to vote, and I believe that all people should take in the process of our electoral process and be proud of when they are able to vote for their leadership. We are the fourth largest of over 500 tribal nations throughout the country, the third largest in Oklahoma. As I mentioned, we have an annual budget exceeding over $200 million. We're providing livelihoods and employing Oklahomans, many non-Indian. A salary base of over $130 million, monies that are spent and invested right here in Creek Nation and in Oklahoma, and here in eastern Oklahoma, not Bentonville, Arkansas. Investing over $6 million in transportation infrastructure in Oklahoma, those being public roads and bridges used by all Oklahomans, and being a former commissioner, Senator Ballinger, I know you appreciate that. Assisting the state education fund with additional millions from tribal economic revenues. While we have been very proud of the fact that education has always been a priority with the Muscogee Creek Nation, it's time that we use the people that we help get an education and bring them home to be part of our tribal government. And together, young and old alike, we can turn this Muscogee Creek Nation around. As I stated, I will be providing a memorandum of understanding of a proposed 90-day plan with you. Some of the things I'd like to share with you out of that plan that you'll be reading is that we will be commencing an audit of the judiciary, including all bank accounts previously under judiciary control. We will be appointing a 3-person legal review commission to review the Muscogee Nation Legal Code to recommend revisions and a general cleanup, if you will, of the code to ensure that the legal code is consistent and clear and not political. We will review to determine if at-large representation is truly constitutional. Whatever findings we find will be shared with you as a National Council. We look forward to the meetings that we'll be having with our communities to solicit their input into needed reforms and listen to the community's concerns. In the Department of Community Development, we will review department policies and procedures with the goal of providing additional support and resources to the communities. Concerning communities and lawsuits, I will move to withdraw or settle any pending lawsuits and to reestablish a relationship of mutual trust and respect between the Muscogee Creek Nation government and our communities. A little over a week ago, a number of our staff and our Attorney General and in-house legal counsel went to Oklahoma City to initiate this process of a tobacco compact. I'm comfortable and proud to report to you that we feel like it is going to be truly negotiation and not dictation as we look forward to a quick and a cooperative settlement on this issue of our tobacco compact. And I look forward to bringing to you a compact that you can approve so that our smoke shops within the Muscogee Creek Nation can compete. Just this past week, we submitted funding applications for community development financial initiatives so that we can provide more resources for our communities on the local level. The concept of the communities was to help their own at the local level, and when they're helping and succeeding at the local level, the Muscogee Creek Nation is succeeding. I've asked Mr. Pratt, who I called to ask to come back to serve as an acting controller, if we would instill a customer service orientation to his office to ensure that this department has an attitude of cooperation and support for our programs and service areas. In addition, we will ensure that the controller has robust and comprehensive financial controls and procedures in place, but that the controller's office will not be making management decisions that are more properly the authority of the program managers. I've asked the controller to conduct periodic training for program staff and employees to ensure that employees are informed about the nation's necessary fiscal policies and operational procedures. In enterprise and economic development, we're going to move forward with the express will of the National Council to reorganize gaming and non-gaming enterprises into OIWA Section 3 corporate charters. As I stated earlier, the nation has submitted a planning grant for the creation of a small business development center. The Small Business Development Center will assist our Muscogee citizens with the creation of their business and the expansion of existing Creek-owned businesses. This will create additional jobs and economic development in our communities. I will authorize and commence the review of all financial services currently being provided by the nation and will identify necessary reforms and improvements. On our permanent fund, I will authorize a financial review of the investment performance of the nation's permanent fund and to identify ways to increase our fund earnings while maintaining the safety of our tribal funds. New business adventures. I want to implement the Economic Development Committee Due Diligence Committee process. We will judiciously look for and carefully evaluate investments in new non-gaming business opportunities. Also, considerations of establishment of a 3-person gaming commission with a full-time gaming commissioner. On the Mackey Sandbar property, I will authorize and begin a process that will result in the drafting of a master development plan for the Mackey Sandbar property and related real estate owned by the nation. This new master development plan will maximize the highest and best use of additional development of the property to include a large hotel, conference, and event center. Since January 4th, I've authorized a greater expanded role for the second chief, and we will continue to give him more responsibilities. I believe he needs to earn his salary. In health, we want to create and appoint a new advisory board for the health systems of the Muscogee Creek Nation. This board will not have operational authority, but shall provide important advice to the nation regarding operational and service improvements. We are going to appoint a new health administrator director. We're going to evaluate and update current management and accounting systems and update health improvement plan. As I mentioned, we want to expedite what we're doing with our housing, but more importantly, we're going to be seeking and identifying other non-NAHASDA funding sources and report back with ways in which the nation can augment its housing budget so as to put more citizens in homes. In addition, Housing will launch a review of the current process for delivering emergency services to tribal members in ways to ensure a safety net for our most vulnerable citizens. In higher education, we want to establish a higher education foundation. To enhance the tribal scholarship program for higher education, we will launch a foundation funded entirely by outside sources to complement and increase scholarships for tribal members pursuing higher education degrees in their fields of interest and choice. We're going to research and study and implementing an expedient system for scholarship funds, to work with the controller and higher education personnel to implement a system for scholarship funds to be received at the higher education institutions in a timely manner to ensure students' good standing with the institutions. As you can see, personally, I can't wait to see what we can accomplish, not only in the next 90 days, 1 year, or 4 years. We have so much within our reach because you, as council, and you, as Muscogee, our citizens, are our greatest resource. We will create a future where we can control our own destiny, security, and prosperous economy to leave to our children and our grandchildren. I leave you with the vision that over the next 90 days and the next year, we will work towards the empowerment of our nation, our citizens, and our communities. We will expand and improve our programs and services and zealously, not jealously, seek economic development opportunities to attain these goals. We are still here. We are Muscogee. God bless America. God bless Oklahoma. And may God continue to bless the great Muscogee Creek Nation.